A man doesn't feel his bones getting weaker. He just one day bends down to pick something up off the floor. Maybe it's his kid's toy, maybe it's a bag of groceries, and he ends up in surgery. No warning, no build-up. Just one ordinary moment that changes everything. And here's what nobody tells you about that moment. It didn't start that day. It started years earlier, quietly, silently, while he was going about his normal life, completely unaware. The number one reason this happens to men over 50 has nothing to do with calcium, nothing to do with not drinking enough milk. It comes down to one hormone that your body has been slowly producing less and less of, and it's been taking your bone strength down with it. If you're over 50 and you think this doesn't apply to you, this video is especially for you. Before we get into the science, I need to flag something important. There is one thing that millions of men do every single morning, something that feels completely harmless, that is actively draining both your testosterone and your bone strength at the same time. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is before this video ends. I'm also going to show you a simple 3-number combination from a standard blood test that reveals your true bone risk, far more accurately than any calcium test your doctor has ever ordered. Stay with me. Everything in this video builds on itself, and by the end, you'll understand your body in a way most men your age simply don't. Point 1. Your bones are a living machine. Testosterone runs it. Most men picture their bones like concrete, solid, fixed, just sitting there holding everything up. But that's not how bones work at all. Your bones are alive. Every single day, old bone tissue is broken down and new bone tissue is built back up. It's a constant cycle happening inside you right now. And testosterone is the hormone that controls the building side of that process. When your testosterone levels drop, which happens naturally after 50, typically at a rate of about 1 to 2% every year, the demolition crew inside your bones starts working faster than the builders can keep up. The result is bone that gets thinner, more hollow, and more fragile from the inside out. And you feel absolutely nothing while it's happening. Research shows men can lose up to 2% of their bone density every single year once testosterone starts declining. Over a decade, that's 20% gone, and by the time a standard X-ray catches it, the damage is already significant. What this means for you is this: waiting for symptoms before you act is already too late. The time to pay attention is right now. Your action step for this point: ask your doctor specifically for a DEXA scan, not a general checkup. A DEXA scan, DEXA. It's the only test that accurately measures bone density at the early stages, when something can actually be done about it. Point 2, your body is warning you. You're just not reading the signals. Here's something that frustrates me. The body does send warning signs. Men are just never taught what to look for, so they chalk everything up to just getting older and move on. If your back aches constantly and you can't trace it to a specific injury, that's worth paying attention to. Chronic back pain in men over 50 is frequently caused by microfractures in the vertebrae as the bone thins out, not a pulled muscle. If you've lost even half an inch of height over the last few years, your vertebrae are compressing. That's a structural change, not a coincidence. If your grip strength has noticeably dropped, and I mean things that used to feel easy now feel harder, that is one of the most reliable early markers for both low testosterone and bone loss working together. If you're tired in a way that sleep doesn't seem to fix, your bone marrow, which lives inside your bones, is responsible for producing red blood cells. When bone quality drops, that production suffers and fatigue follows. What this means for you is this: these aren't random signs of aging. They form a pattern, and that pattern points directly at the testosterone-bone connection. Your action step: roll up a towel right now and squeeze it as hard as you can. If that feels noticeably weaker than it would have 5 years ago, take that seriously and bring it up with your doctor. Point 3, why your blood test is only telling you half the story. This is one of the most important things I can tell you. You go to your doctor, he checks your testosterone. The number comes back and he says, "You're fine. Everything looks normal," but you feel exhausted. Your motivation is gone. Your body doesn't feel like yours anymore, and you walk out confused. Here is why that happens. There are 2 types of testosterone in your blood: total testosterone, which is what most doctors test, and free testosterone, which is the amount your body can actually use. After the age of 50, a protein called SHBG, think of it simply as a testosterone cage, increases significantly. It grabs onto your testosterone and locks it up so your body cannot access it. Your total number looks fine, but your usable testosterone, your free testosterone, is running on empty, and your bones are paying the price. The 3 numbers you actually need are free testosterone, SHBG, and your vitamin D level, not just total testosterone. Those 3 together give you the real picture. What this means for you is this: you could have so-called normal testosterone on paper and still be experiencing every single effect of low T, including accelerating bone loss, And your doctor may never connect those dots unless you ask the right questions. Your action step: write down these 3 words before your next appointment. Free testosterone, SHBG, vitamin D. Hand that paper to your doctor and ask for all 3 tested together. Point 4. 3 daily habits that are making everything worse. None of these are dramatic. None of them feel dangerous. That's exactly what makes them so damaging. The first one is avoiding dietary fat. Testosterone is manufactured from cholesterol inside your body. Men who have spent decades eating low-fat diets thinking they were being healthy have been unknowingly cutting off their body's ability to produce testosterone at the source. Eggs, olive oil, avocados, these are not your enemy after 50. They are your raw material. The second habit is sitting for long stretches without any resistance exercise. Weight-bearing movement sends a direct biological signal to your bones telling them to stay dense and strong. Without that signal, your body assumes the bone structure isn't needed, and it begins to break it down. The body is ruthlessly efficient that way. The third habit is getting less than 7 hours of sleep consistently. Over 90% of your daily testosterone is produced during deep sleep. Men, averaging 5 to 6 hours, are operating at a fraction of their testosterone production capacity every single night without realizing the cumulative damage being done. What this means for you is this. These 3 habits compound each other in a downward spiral. Poor sleep lowers testosterone. Low testosterone kills the drive to exercise. No exercise accelerates bone loss. Each one feeds the next. Your action step: pick just one of these 3 to address this week. Not all 3, just one. That's how lasting change actually starts. Point 5, the evidence-based stack that rebuilds both T and bone. Let me be clear. You do not need a prescription to start reversing this. There are specific, well-researched inputs that your body requires for both testosterone production and bone rebuilding, and the majority of men over 50 are deficient in most of them. Vitamin D3 combined with K2. D3 directly supports testosterone production and helps your body absorb calcium properly. K2 acts as a traffic director. It tells that calcium to go into your bones, not your arteries. These 2 must be taken together. One without the other is significantly less effective. Magnesium is directly involved in testosterone synthesis, and studies consistently show that over 70% of men over 50 are deficient, most without any idea. This one deficiency alone can suppress your T levels measurably. Zinc is the building block your body cannot make testosterone without. It's lost through sweat, which means active men are particularly at risk. If you exercise and don't supplement zinc, you may be working against yourself. And then there's resistance training, specifically compound movements. Squats, deadlifts, rows. These exercises produce the highest natural testosterone response and the most powerful bone density stimulus of anything you can do with your body. You don't need to become a bodybuilder. 3 40-minute sessions per week creates measurable change in free testosterone levels within 8 to 12 weeks in men over 50. What this means for you is this. This combination of targeted micronutrients and resistance training is not theory. It's documented, repeatable, and well within your reach starting this week. Your action step: get your vitamin D level tested at your next blood draw. If it comes back below 40 nanograms per milliliter, which is the case for most men over 50, begin D3 and K2 supplementation immediately and speak to your doctor about the right dosage for your level. I want to tell you about a man named David. David was 58 years old. He had lifted weights through his 30s and 40s. He was proud of that. He assumed that his history of being active gave him some kind of protection, that his bones were solid, his body was resilient. Around 52, he started noticing his back aching after long drives. He figured it was posture. He bought a better chair for his office. The pain stayed. At 57, he slipped getting out of his car in a parking lot. It wasn't a dramatic fall. He just lost his footing for a second. He fractured 2 vertebrae. The scans that followed were devastating. His bone density was equivalent to a man of 75. 17 years older than he actually was. When they dug deeper, checked his free testosterone, his SHBG, his D levels, the picture became clear. His testosterone had been declining since his early 50s. Not catastrophically, just quietly, steadily. And nobody had ever flagged it or connected it to what was happening inside his skeleton. 6 months after addressing his free testosterone levels through targeted lifestyle changes and the supplementation protocol I just described, his follow-up DEXA scan showed measurable new bone formation. Real, documented rebuilding. He told me something I haven't forgotten. He said, "I thought I was just getting old. I didn't know I was getting robbed." That sentence is why I made this video. Conclusion. Let me bring this together quickly. Testosterone doesn't just control your energy and your drive. It literally holds your skeleton together. When it drops, your bones quietly hollow out, with no pain, no warning, no obvious sign until something breaks. The standard blood test most doctors run will not catch this. The signals your body sends are real, but almost nobody teaches men how to read them. And the good news, the real good news, is that this is one of the most reversible conditions a man over 50 can face when it's caught and addressed correctly. Now, that morning habit I mentioned at the very start, it's this: skipping breakfast and going straight to caffeine on an empty stomach. When you do that, cortisol spikes sharply. Cortisol is testosterone's direct biological enemy. It actively suppresses T production. And chronically elevated cortisol pulls calcium directly out of your bones. Two serious problems. 1 cup of coffee on an empty stomach, every single morning. Start eating something, even something small, before that first coffee. It takes 30 seconds to change, and it matters more than most men realize. One question for the comments, and I genuinely want to hear from you. What was the first thing you noticed changing in your body after 50? One sentence. Drop it below, I read every single one. And if this video gave you something your doctor hasn't taken the time to explain, hit subscribe. Every week I bring you the science behind what's actually happening inside your body after 50 in plain language, with real solutions you can act on.